morning. It is an absolute pleasure to be here. Anytime in God's house, and for those that are in prayer, especially to open the new year. There's something special about starting off the year spiritually on the right foot. So I'm glad to see everybody here today, so I can make it out. Brother Deacon Harder has some handouts. I think I have them, so they'll get rolled out to you. If you're here for Sunday school this morning, the message we had this Sunday school morning was 10 things to obey for spiritual growth. So the theme for today is growing spiritually. Growing spiritually. We're going to look at some examples today of things to do, and also some dangers to try to avoid, to hopefully make 2017 be our best year spiritually yet today. You might be asking, well, why do you always do all these handouts and things like that? It's a good question. When I was in college at SUNY Fredonia, I took a public speaking course. Not because I wanted to, because it was required. And the professor at the time could tell that I was very uneasy, even 2 weeks, 3 weeks before giving my presentation. He said, well, let me give you a few tips. You can have an outline if you're going to speak. He said, the reason for that is not just so you can be organized in your thoughts and to follow along, but it also makes other people be able to follow along a little bit better with you too. If there's something that they're unsure about, or if there's something they want to search out on their own, they can do their own due diligence on their own time. And then he asked me for another reason, can you think of any other reason why it's good to have an outline? And I was thinking to myself, well, if I pass out from the class, somebody else can just pick up my notes and finish this talk, because where I was going with it. But it said it helps you to keep to the point without getting off on too many rabbit trails. Because if you're not comfortable speaking in front of people, sometimes your mind can wander, and that happens to everybody. With this, I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with speaking in front of people. This message I didn't originally intend to have an outline for, but as I started the preparations for it, I really felt that God had led me to do an outline for it, because I think there are some things that we can discover by searching through God's Word, and maybe a little bit more organized, and maybe get a little bit deeper into some truths today, into messages and passages of Scripture, which we all know very well. When I started planning the message a while ago, I started thinking about Christmas time, because we're around Christmas time, but I also really wanted to focus on growing spiritually for 2017. So I started thinking, all right, well, I need some examples here on those in the Bibles of how to search God the right way in 2017. And as I was praying about it and going through it, I started coming back to this story of the wise man. And I kept thinking, well, I don't really want to do a Christmas-type message. It's not what I feel led to do. But as I looked more and more into it, God impressed upon my heart, there's a lot that we can learn from the wise men, how they sought the Lord, how they sought for the Savior, that we can apply to our own lives spiritually, hopefully grow closer to the Lord in 2017. So we're going to open with a word of prayer, and we'll get right into the message. Our Heavenly Father, we just thank you for who you are. And Lord, we thank you that you are exactly who you say you are, that your word does not change. Jesus Christ, the same yesterday and today and forever. We thank you that we can open your word and know that it's true and valuable and it's pertinent today in our modern society, in the lives that we live. Lord, I ask you to cleanse me of sin, empty me of self, and fill me with your Spirit, Lord. That your word will go forth unhindered and uninhibited today. And we'll just see your hand upon it and on our lives and seek to be drawn closer to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now this is the time of the year when a lot of people are prone to make resolutions. New Year's Day, New Year's resolutions. Okay? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I heard a quote one time that I really enjoyed that said, if you aim at nothing, you'll hit it every time. So it's good for us as Christians to set some spiritual goals, to have some standards that we're striving towards achieving over the course of 2017. And it makes sense, it lines up with our own calendar well when we think of a new year, a new beginning, a new chance to maybe refocus our sights on Christ and to really make this year the best one we can for Him. As I was going through some statistics on New Year's resolutions, it's estimated that approximately 47% of Americans in our country make New Year's resolutions. So just about half. Just about half of Americans make resolutions. And of the people that make resolutions, approximately 8% are successful in achieving a resolution. So about half the people in America are going to make some sort of New Year's resolution this year. And only in less than 1/10 are actually going to be successful in obtaining what their goal is that they set for themselves. Kind of the sad part here is that they took a poll of there was a group of people who, if I read the stats correctly here, there was a group of people who made the same resolution for at least 4 years. So 4 years or more. The same resolution, 4 years more. And of the group of people who did that, less than 24% ever achieved their goal anytime during that 4-year period. And the interesting part about that, you might think, well, you know, that's just everybody in America. Well, this part here, the 24%, was actually amongst Bible-believing professing Christians. And these were goals that they set for themselves. They came from what we would consider spiritual goals, whether it was church attendance, Bible reading, and prayer were the most common. Less than 24%, I think it was like 23.5%, achieved what their own spiritual goals are that they felt that God had laid on their heart for that coming year at any given point over the next 4+ years. Okay, so that's where we're going with this. Keep that in the back of your mind. Of those who do have some success with maintaining the resolution, except for the new year, 75% maintain the resolution for the first week. Well, that sounds pretty good until you look at it from the reverse side. 1/4 of people who make a resolution, spiritual or otherwise, don't even make it through the first week. After 2 weeks, the number goes down to 71%. 64% are able to keep the resolution intact for a month. And then at the 6-month interval, 46% is the standard rate, about just less than half keep the resolution for 6 months. So we see between that 6-month and the end of the year, it goes from about half to 8%. So we're going to look at some examples today. But hopefully, if you have some spiritual resolutions, some things that God has laid on your heart to grow closer to spiritually, how can we be one of that 8%? How can we be successful? So we're going to look at a few passages of Scripture. I will ask you to turn back, if you will, to Matthew chapter 2. Matthew chapter 2. So we get our responsive reading from this morning. Very well-known passage of Scripture. But I want to dig a little bit deeper and see if we can glean some truths that maybe we haven't considered. Oftentimes, because the truths we're going to be looking at today aren't necessarily what we consider part of the Christmas story. So sometimes when you read a passage for a different purpose, God can speak to you in a different way. So we're going to look at the story of the wise men here in Matthew chapter 2. You're right about being organized up here, trying to shuffle things around. Set up. Okay, so Matthew chapter 2 and verse 1. Now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen a star in the east and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And he said unto them, and they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed. And lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So on your outline there, the first thing we have here, the first point I want to make is the decisiveness of a wise man. The decisiveness of a wise man. And if you look there with me in verse 2, the wise man came to Herod saying, "Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east and are come to worship him." Okay, so we see immediately. It says here, we see his star in the east and we're come to worship him. We saw something. God guided us in a certain way and we acted upon it. It was a decisive, prompt response. Those statistics that we talked about earlier with the resolutions, when I look at just the ones that were from Christians, the statistics that were reported amongst Bible-believing Christians, about 88%, 88 to 90% of the resolutions that were made were things that Christians themselves admitted they were things that they should have already been doing anyway. We would already, we're not going to do a show of hands here, but we probably all agree that's a good thing for us to be in church. We should be reading our Bible. We should be praying. We should be trying to live a godly lifestyle and be able to witness to other people. Okay, those things almost should, we don't think about it because we take them for granted. But what happens here is we need to just be decisive. And when God gives us something, things that we already know we should be doing, be prompt in our following of that. Because what can happen sometimes in our own human nature, we can get very good at rationalizing or making excuses or justifying why we're not doing something that we already know we should have been doing all along. And that's what the good thing about New Year's resolutions is it gives us a chance to refocus our sights on the Lord. But if we're going to refocus our sights where they should have been in the first place, it has to be decisive. Just like the wise men. They saw the star and they came to worship him. There was no, well, there's that star up there. We should probably go, but let me think about it and see how it goes. No, they saw the star and they went. If God has put something in your life right now, a resolution, a spiritual goal, that you know in your heart of hearts you should be doing anyway, there's no reason to debate it any longer, to put it off. Be decisive now. James 1:8 says, "A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways." Okay? As Christians, if God's putting something in our heart, we're supposed to have a conviction about that and not be wishy-washy going back and forth. 2 Corinthians 11:3 says, "But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ." The key word there I underline is simplicity. If we have the Holy Spirit indwelling in us, and working through us, and giving us guidance about how we're supposed to make our lives, or how we're supposed to live our lives, a lot of times those choices are going to be very simple. They're things that should just kind of be almost no-brainers. But the longer we put them off, like I said earlier, the longer we delay in acting on those things, the more time there is for us to talk ourselves out of doing what we know we should have been doing all along. Okay. The next part here is in letter 2, it says, we need to do our part. We need to do our part. James 4:8 says, "Draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you." Okay. "Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded." There we see that again, the double-minded. God doesn't want us to be halfway in, halfway out, thinking about if we're going to follow him, or if we're going to just kind of follow when it's easy, follow when it's convenient. We're supposed to make that decision decisively and be all in with him. James 1:22 says, "But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves." Like I said before, if we're going to sit here and talk about the things that we should be doing, we could come up with a very long list of things that us as Christians that we should be doing, that we know from the Bible without a doubt that it's God's will for every one of us here to be doing. But the reality is there's a lot of Christians who are talking about the things that they should be doing instead of actually doing it. They're being hearers only, they're not being doers. And not putting what they know about the Bible and the truth from here into action in their own lives. When I was in high school, I played football for a very successful coach, Coach Winkler, who's still there in high school. And every year after the season ended, we started our New Year resolutions. We would come in and we'd have to set goals for ourselves as far as what our bench press was going to be, or our 40-yard dash time, or vertical, and all this stuff. And he had a quote. He was a man of few words, but he said one thing year after year that stuck with me. Because every year guys would come in and say, I'm going to do this, I'm going to run this fast, I'm going to eat this healthy, I'm going to be in the weight room this many days. And he would just kind of nod his head and go along with it. He was a very gentleman kind of guy. He would never cut somebody off in sentence. But one thing he always said was, don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, be about it. And sometimes I wonder if God is looking up there in heaven saying, you know what, all these words, all these things that you're telling me, these sound good, but show me. If you love me, it says if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. It says that over and over again in the Bible. The problem is, in too many times, as Christians, we're content to talk about the things we know we should be doing instead of actually just going out there and doing them and being decisive with it. The next point on the outline is, I want to notice, we talk about the decisiveness of a wise man. Now, the diligence of a wise man. The diligence of a wise man. And if you're still there in Matthew chapter 2, verse 8 says, and he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child. Go and search diligently for the young child. And as Christians, we need to learn and practice diligence, biblical diligence. Oftentimes, we look at some of the stats before about how quickly we can abandon these resolutions. Some people, like I said, a quarter of the people who make resolutions don't even make it through the first week. That's not the biblical definition of diligence. So let's look what the Bible says about diligence. Proverbs 13:4 says, the soul of the sluggard desireth and hath nothing, but the soul of the diligent shall be made fat. Galatians 6:9 says, and let us not be weary in well-doing, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. That if we faint not means if we don't give up. We're going to apply here if we last longer than a week in our resolution. Okay, we got to be in it for the long haul, and that starts with a decisive decision from the get-go that we're not going to let this year fade away into another year where we don't accomplish what God had for us. 1 Corinthians 15:58 says, therefore, my beloved brethren, be ye steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, forasmuch as you know that your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Steadfast, unmovable. Things that are steadfast and unmovable. If you think of some monuments, things that are steadfast and unmovable, you know what? They're going to last longer than a week. I think of when I go back to my hometown, we have some memorials from World War II that have survived generations. Civil War memorials. We see that there are things that God has created to be steadfast and unmovable. And sometimes I think as Christians, we don't realize that we were created in His image. We're supposed to be taking on some of the same characteristics of Christ Himself. And this sign, sometimes I think if you think of just maybe taking a stake and dragging it around, saying, this is the year I'm not going to move off of this. I'm going to make a change now. Proverbs 22:29 says, seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. He shall not stand before mean men. The Bible has a lot to say about diligence and how it applies to our own Christian lives in our relationship with Christ. The next point on the outline we have is diligence is a decision. Diligence is a decision. And the verse we have in there is Ecclesiastes 9:10. And Ecclesiastes 9:10 says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. Now this is kind of a special verse for my wife and myself, because in our home church, we're in Eden. For years we've worked in the Pastor Pirates Club on Wednesday nights. And Lexi, I think Ellie was still in the nursery, so Lexi was maybe 3 years old. And this was, I think, the first verse that she actually memorized on her own. So we heard, whatsoever thy hand kind of do it with thy might, for years, it seemed like. But and it's one of those verses that you hear your child saying you're glad they're hearing Scripture, but it can, what happens oftentimes with Scripture, when you hear it over and over again, it can kind of lose its power sometimes. But as we move, as Jess had the baby, we had to move Ellie and Lexi in the same room together, which was an adventure. But we actually have this on their wall. And we have whatsoever thy hand findeth to do. We have their handprints up on the wall for Lexi and Ellie. It says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. And I walked in and said, that looks good. That's pretty cute. And then as I was preparing this message, I walked in just to check on at night and grab one of those things that parents do at night. And the verse kind of hit me. And I was standing there looking at our wall. And it said, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. That first word in whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, that word really indicates that there is something for us to do. Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, there is something that God wants each and every one of us to do. Without question. There is a purpose that God wants to fulfill through your life. It says, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do. That implies that we should be looking and searching for what it is that God has for us. What is God's plan for my life? Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, and then here's where the diligence comes in. Do it with thy might. Do it all the strength that God provides you. All the power that lies within you in the Holy Ghost. Do it with your might. The next verse under there we have Proverbs chapter 3, verse 14. And it says, wherefore, beloved, seeing that ye look for such things, be diligent, that ye may be found of him in peace, without spot and blameless. Now, is that how we want to stand before the Lord, without spot and blameless? Amen. I think that would be what we want all our testimony to be. This verse indicates, in order to stand before Christ one day, if that's going to be our actual standing, we need to be diligent while we're here on earth. Instead of just kind of casually going through Christian life, just passing our time. Okay. The next thing we're going to look at here, the next verse, I don't think these are on the outlines, but 2 Peter 1:10 says, wherefore, rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure. Proverbs 11:27 says, he that diligently seeketh good, procureth favor. Okay, so anything that we want to accomplish spiritually for the Lord through our own lives is not going to come to fruition unless we do it with diligence. We need to be diligent in this. Now, all these verses really indicate that we haven't really tried until we've tried biblically. And biblical diligence, as we've just gone through, is much different than the worldly diligence that we consider when we look at the statistics from the resolutions earlier. And to put it very succinctly, to put it very bluntly, if you look there on number 4, right now, you are exactly as close to the Lord as you really want to be. As Christians, we have a lot of people that give God lip service. I love the Lord. I want to do this. I want to do that. But when it really comes down to it, the things that matter to us, the things that we really care about, we find a way to get them done. And that might sound a little harsh, but if you look with me over to, if you want to turn it over to Jeremiah 23:23. Jeremiah 23:23 says, am I a God at hand, saith the Lord, and not a God far off? God is within reach. It's not his desire. He's not hiding from us. God is not trying to make this like an obstacle course where we have to go through jump over all these hoops and try to search for him and like he's hard to find. God is as close as we want him to be. James 4:8 says, draw nigh to God, and he will draw nigh to you. And this part, and it's going to sound a little harsh, and I don't mean to be mean. I'm trying to say this with love. But right now, if you are not as close to God as you want to be, that's not God's fault. If you will draw, the Bible says here, in Titus 1:2 says, a God that cannot lie. God says, if you draw close to me, I will draw close to you. God can't lie about that. So right now, if you're not where you want to be, you know where that puts the blame? Right here. If I'm not where I need to be spiritually, you know whose fault that is? It's my fault. That's not my wife's fault. It's not anybody else's spirit's fault. It's definitely not God's fault. I am when it all comes down to it, I'm going to be completely honest with myself. My spiritual walk, my spiritual devotion to the Lord is exactly where I am comfortable with it being. Through my own lack of decisiveness or lack of diligence in seeking out and getting closer to God. Point number 3 we're going to look at, Roman rule number 3, we looked at the decisiveness of the wise men, the diligence of the wise men. Now we're going to look at the wise men's delivery. The wise men's delivery. If you're still there in Matthew chapter 2, if you look at verse 11 with me, and when they were coming to the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Now, typically, when we focus on this passage of Scripture, at least in my life, the focus typically is usually on the gifts that the wise men brought to Christ. And the significance of the gifts. The sacrifice that they made in their own diligence, taking a long journey to bring these valuable gifts to the Lord. But I want to look here, if you look with me at the first part of verse 11, it just says, and when they were come into the house. Into the house. I have it here on the outline, that they reached their desired destination. They came into the house. Now, I'm just going to put this out here. If you make any resolution for New Year spiritually, no matter what it is, you're going to have a really hard time hitting those goals if you don't come into God's house. If you don't make being amongst other believers, hearing God's word, if that's not a priority to you, to come into God's house and hear His word, you're not going to have much success with your goals. Now, obviously, the gifts that they brought were very special gifts. But I believe personally, what makes it so special is that they personally brought these gifts into God's presence themselves. For my Christmas shopping this year, my goal this year is to never go into a store on Christmas. And I almost did it this year. We went to the Corning Museum of Glass. I got one gift there. Everything else was Amazon or Groupon. So everything else was delivered. So I praise God for technology. But the wise men, they didn't FedEx the frankincense. They didn't UPS the myrrh. They got on their camels or donkeys or whatever their source of transportation was, and they physically endured a long and arduous trial to bring their gifts to the Lord. There's something very special about bringing your gifts, whether it's your talents that God's equipped you with, whether it's your time that you can come here and serve others in the church, whether it's your treasure, the tithes and offerings, where there's something special about, if you're physically able, I know there's people that are providentially hindered and can't come to all the services, but as much as you are able, there is something special about bringing your gifts into the house. Into the house. Malachi 3:10 says, bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse, that there may be meat in mine house. If you're still there in Matthew, if you turn over with me to Matthew chapter 25, we're just going to look at one verse in Matthew chapter 25. Look at verse 20. This comes from the parable of the talents. Matthew 25:20 says, and so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents. So again, we see the biblical indication of when God has given us a gift, we see a biblical standard here of bringing it before Him personally. And there's something special about doing that, like we thought about being in God's house on the first day of the year, sanctifying this year as holy as unto the Lord. You're going to have a lot more success if you make a priority in this new year, 2017, of being in God's house, coming into the house. Now we're going to look at what I'm going to call here Peter's resolution. Peter's resolution. I don't necessarily think it's the New Year's resolution, but it's a pretty good, he makes a couple of good resolutions here. If you'll turn with me over to Luke chapter 22, verse 33. Luke 22:33, and this is Peter speaking. He says, and he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee, both into prison and to death. Now, that's quite a resolution. Lord, I'm willing to be as close to you as I can be, no matter where it takes me. I'm going to follow you. This is Peter. Peter is being decisive here. He's making his decision. This is his resolution. Lord, I am going to follow you, regardless of what that means to me personally. Whatever that means for my health, whatever that endures, whatever that entails, I am going to follow you. This is Peter's resolution. If you turn with me back over to Matthew, chapter 26. I like the gospel because it often gives multiple accounts of events that I think we can really grow from if we really study them out. All the different accounts of the Gospels. Matthew 26, verse 33 says, okay, and you see Peter again. And Peter answered and said unto him, though all men be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. Now that's quite a resolution. That's quite a resolution. No matter what anybody says, no matter if other people fall by the wayside, Peter's making a resolution. You know what, Lord? I don't care if other people fail, I'm not going to fail. I'm going to follow you through thick and thin, good and bad. This is Peter's resolution. It's a pretty good resolution, right? These are good resolutions to make for us as Christians. I'm going to follow the Lord, no matter what happens. But let's see what happens here. We'll look at some of the dangers here. We're going to look at some of the dangers that can kind of get in the way of us getting our spiritual goals. Now, if you remember who we're talking about here with Peter, Peter is not what we would call just a new Christian. Peter's somebody we're talking about is very close to the Lord. I think the last time I was here, we spoke on preaching on getting out of the boat. So Peter is the one person in history other than Jesus Christ himself who actually walked down the water by faith in Christ. Okay? Peter was actually so close to the Lord, if you read, I believe it's in John's account, of when the mob came to crucify Jesus. Peter was so close to the Lord that he actually struck and caught off the servant of the high priest's ear. So Peter was somebody who loved the Lord and was very protective of the Lord. Okay, this is not just a person who just kind of barely knows the Lord, doesn't really know much about him. Peter, you gotta remember, Peter's been walking with the Lord every day for years now. Peter knows the Lord. Peter loves the Lord. A lot of Christians have been walking with Christ for a long time. But we're going to look at what happens sometimes right after Peter makes this resolution. If you're there, I'll read that again. In Matthew 26:33, Peter answered and said unto him, though all men be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. Okay? Now what happens? That's a good resolution. Let's see. We're going to call Roman numeral number 4, the disregard for spiritual things. The disregard for spiritual things. If you're still there in Matthew chapter 26, I'd ask you to look over with me to verse 40. And he cometh to the disciples, this is Jesus, and he cometh to the disciples and findeth them asleep. And saith unto Peter, what, could ye not watch only 1 hour? Watch and pray, that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them, and went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words. And he cometh to the disciples, and saith unto them, sleep on now, take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. So here, number 4, we have the disregard for spiritual things. And the point I want to make here is 3 times. You remember, who is Jesus praying with right now? Who is he following? He's following Jesus Christ himself in the flesh. And 3 times. So do you think if Jesus is going to pray about something, do you think it might be an important time to pay attention to what's going on? If Jesus is going up to pray about something, it's probably a pretty important time for us as Christians to pay attention to what's going on around him. But 3 times, not 1 time, not 2 times, but 3 times, Jesus physically has to come over and wake Peter up. As if to say, Peter, wait, this is important, Peter. This is important. Pay attention to this. And what's Peter do? Back out. Okay. Jesus goes, pray. Come back 2nd time. Hey, Peter. Peter. What happened? Wake up, this is important. And and he does that 3 times. And we can kind of laugh and joke about it. But has God ever had to get your attention more than 3 times to do something you knew you should have been doing? I know he does in my life. But what happens, and this isn't one of my points, but if you ever look at any statistics on church attendance, the fastest declining, as far as church attendance, the fastest declining service is prayer meeting. Across our country, even amongst Christians, I think it's pretty fair to say we have a disregard for spiritual things. We don't pay attention to prayer how we should. And all I listen to, and it shows in the world around us. We don't take as much time or effort in prayer as we should. Now, that being said, neither did Peter. Did God still use them? Yeah, we can fix things. But we need to be careful to not have a disregard for spiritual things. The prayer is just the one example we're going to look at today. There's many others if we were to go through. We could probably look at some other things that where we could be disregarding, where we need to pay more proper attention to. The next point I have, number 5, is the dangerous distance from the Lord. And the note I have it here is that the disregard for spiritual things will lead you to be a dangerous distance from the Lord. Luke 22:54. And remember, this is right after Peter makes his resolution. He's going to follow the Lord. No matter what happens, he's going to stay by as close to the Lord. Luke 22:54 says, Then they took him and led him. They talk about Jesus. They took Jesus and led him and brought him into the high priest's house, and Peter followed afar off. Now, what happened to that guy who just promised he was in it through thick and thin with God? Where is he? Afar off. He's not where he said he was going to be. He's not by Christ's side. And when I read this, and I hope I can take a little bit of liberty here, the thing that's interesting about this passage, particularly in Luke's account, and it says, and they took him and led him and brought him into the high priest's house, period. After that, it's almost like an afterthought. Oh yeah, and Peter followed afar off. Almost like, if I can use a little bit of illustration, almost like they wrote the scripture, and they're thinking about it, and it's like, Peter's so far away, they almost didn't realize he was there. Oh yeah, you know what? Oh, and Peter followed afar off too. Peter was there, but he was so far off, so far away from the Lord, you probably wouldn't even recognize him. If you look over in Matthew's account, back in Matthew 26, Matthew 26, verse 58. Now remember, verse 33 in Matthew 26:33 says, And Peter answered said unto him, Though all men shall be offended because of thee, yet will I never be offended. Okay? That's verse 33. Okay, turn over to verse, verse 58. Okay, it's about 25 verses later. But Peter followed him afar off. What happened? What happened? What happened to being close to the Lord? What happened to Peter's resolution? You know what happened? About that 25% we looked at earlier that didn't make it past the first week. And I don't say these things to kind of be overly critical of Peter, but as somebody who walks so closely to the Lord, could drift so far away from the Lord so quickly, we need to be very aware that it can very easily happen to us as well. If it can happen to Peter, we can't be so full of pride thinking, that'll never happen to me. It can happen. It can happen. Let's read the rest of the verse. But Peter followed him afar off into the high priest's palace and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. To see the end. So we see here, the disregard for spiritual things led to Peter being a dangerous distance from the Lord. And now we're going to look at our final point, number 6, the denial of the relationship. The denial of the relationship. The disregard for spiritual things and an unsafe distance from the Lord can result in your denial of our relationship with Christ. If you'll look back over with me to Luke chapter 22, verse 54. Like I said, I think it's good to look at both accounts of this story because they each tell a little bit, give a little bit of a different perspective on this. And I think we can learn and hopefully challenge ourselves and grow from both passages. Luke chapter 22, verses 54 to 60 say, Then they took him and led him and brought him into the high priest's house. And there he is, and Peter followed afar off. And when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the hall, and when sat down together, Peter sat down among them. But a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire, and earnestly looked upon him, and said, This man also was with him. And he denied him, saying, Woman, I know him not. And after a little while, another saw him, and said, Thou art also of them. And Peter said, Man, I am not. About the space of an hour after, another confidently affirmed, saying, Of a truth, this fellow also was with him, for he is a Galilean. Peter said, Man, I know not what thou sayest. And immediately, while he yet spake, the cock crowed. If you look back with me to verse 56, this was something that actually didn't even occur to me until yesterday, as I was just kind of going over this message. But a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire and earnestly looked upon him. There are people out in the world around us that are watching us. They're examining our lives. They're looking to see, is this guy really love the Lord? Does this lady really love the Lord the way that she said she does? Or is she just saying it? Is he just saying these things? They're examining us. Now this, if somebody could say, if we could just disregard it, we know how the story ends. If somebody would say, Garrett, if you could pick any verse in the Bible for somebody to say at your funeral when you're no longer here, you pick one verse that you would want them to say about you, I would be tempted to use this verse. If you look at this, verse 56, Luke 22:56. But a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire, and earnestly looked upon him, and said, This man also was with him. Now, as a Christian, shouldn't that be a compliment if somebody looks at you and says, Hey, there's something different in your life. I can tell this person knows the Lord. This person has been close to the Lord. This person has been walking with Jesus. That's something I think, if somebody were to say that about me, I would be very honored to have that said about me, as I think most Christians would. Everybody here would be honored for somebody to look at our lives and examine our lives and say, you know what? This man's been close to the Lord. I can tell how he lives his life. Sister Allison's been close to the Lord. I can tell how she lives her life. But look what Peter's response was right away. Verse 57. Okay? The man looks at him earnestly and said, This man also was with him. And he denied, saying, Woman, I know him not. The first thing out of his mouth, the first thing, I don't know what you're talking about. Who? Me? I've been with the Lord? The problem is we have a lot of Christians that want to give lip service to being a Christian and talking about Christ when we're amongst our own circle of believers and other Christian friends. But we're not comfortable enough to show our faith and to acknowledge our faith when other people outside the walls of our church see Christ working in us. There's something about that, just like with Peter, we get threatened by, or we can become threatened by. Many Christians can. And it shouldn't be that way. If you look back over to Matthew's account, Matthew 26, Matthew chapter 26, starting with verse 69. We wrote to verse 74. Matthew 26, 69 says, Now Peter sat without, so there he is again, outside, not near Jesus, far away. Okay? Peter sat without in the palace, and a damsel came unto him, saying, Thou also was with Jesus. Okay? Now when I did my preparation for this, that word there, damsel, in verse 68, is talking about a young girl. Most passages I came across when I was examining this usually talks about a girl under the age of 10, but usually no more than the age of 12. Okay, so you can think of this, probably what we would consider probably the most unimposing, unintimidating person you can imagine walked up to Peter. Okay? Now, you know, Peter's a grown man. Should he be terrified of a little girl? No, obviously he shouldn't. Peter said without in the palace, and a damsel, a little girl, came to him saying, thou also was with Jesus of Galilee. Okay, the first thing he does, what does he do? Verse 7. But he denied before them all, saying, I know not what else asked. What? Who? Who said they saw me with God? Where? Who said this? First thing he does is he denies. He goes on the defensive. He denied before them all. Now, with this, the story could have had a much different ending. We see in both scriptures, God really gives him 3 opportunities to take a stand for him. What if on the third try, Peter said, you know what? I do love the Lord. I do want to follow the Lord. You're right, I did make a resolution to stick closer to the Lord than I ever have. We probably have a much different overall interpretation of these stories of Peter. 2017 has a lot of potential. It can be the best year of your life spiritually if you want it to be. But if we're going to accomplish anything spiritually for the Lord, we need to be decisive in doing the things that God has already told us through His Word that we know we all should be doing. We need to be diligent in doing the things that we set as goals for ourselves to do for the Lord, and not letting things get in our way, not making excuses, or talking ourselves out of doing that. And we need to be in a position we're able to deliver, make our delivery to God, coming into His house, bringing Him the talents that He's entrusted us for His growth, and for the growth of His people, for edification. Now, if you still have your Bible, if you'll turn over to Philippians 3:10. Philippians 3:10. Now, the title of this message I said was Searching for a Savior. Okay, Searching for a Savior. And we're just going to read the first part of this verse. Philippians 3:10 says, that I may know Him and the power of His resurrection. If you're here today and you don't know the Lord, what better way to start, not just 2017, but to start your personal eternity by putting your faith and trust in Jesus Christ the Savior. That I may know Him. If you're here today and you're not saved, you don't know what that means to be saved. But there are people here who can walk you through this and explain this to you. Because it's not God's will that any should perish. But if you are saved, look at the next part, that I may know Him and the power of His resurrection. What a wonderful resolution for 2017 for a Christian. Not just to be saved, not just to know Him, but to know the power of His resurrection. We can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. He gives us that power. The question is, are we tapping into it? Are we being decisive? Are we being diligent? Are we delivering to Christ? And if we're not, there's no better day than today. Behold, today is the day of salvation if you're not saved. But if you're already saved, what better day to make the decision in 2017. You're going to be one of the 8% that actually finishes the course, that fights through the fight, that finishes the race, as the Apostle Paul says. We have a great opportunity before us in 2017. And I believe it's God's will for us to start off right, the way that He wants us to live. Let's close with a word of prayer.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for your word. Thank you, Lord, that it pierces through us, speaks to our hearts, speaks to our spirit, and convicts us, Father. Shows us where we need to straighten some things out in our lives and some things right. Lord, we thank you that it challenges us and exhorts us to try to do more for you. But help us all to be mindful of the power that lives within us through your Holy Spirit. And to do the best that we can to make this year one that will last. You will last not only in our own lives, but in the lives of others around us. You allow us to reach and impact. In Jesus' name. Amen.